If you love the idea of meal prep, but you can't stand the thought of eating the same dish 4 days in a row, I have a solution for you. Today, we're gonna batch cook 10 individual ingredients that we can then mix and match throughout the week. At the end, I'll show you how we can put them together to make 7 different meals that are healthy, fresh, and delicious. So let's dive in. First, we're gonna start with our quinoa. We'll add 2 cups of quinoa to a fine mesh colander in the sink, and we'll rinse it super well with cold water. That's going to help remove a lot of the bitterness. Then you'll spray the inside of your Instant Pot with nonstick spray. Don't worry about taking notes because links to all the recipes are in the description below. Add your quinoa to the Instant Pot along with 2 cups of water and a pinch of salt and pepper. Set your Instant Pot to pressure cook for 1 minute, close the lid, and make sure the vent on top is also set to close. While that cooks, we can start on the marinade for our lemongrass chicken. We'll start with red onion and garlic. Make sure you prep extra because we're going to use it in other recipes as well. Then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. For the lemongrass, I like to use the paste that you can find in the refrigerated section at your grocery store, but you can also use fresh lemongrass. Then add a little bit of olive oil and a good shake of red chili pepper flakes. Now we can add our chicken. I'm using chicken breast tenders because they'll soak up the marinade quicker and they'll also cook a lot quicker. Plus they're easier to portion out into individual meals. But you can also use full-size chicken breasts and then just slice them up for your different meals. I actually forgot to include the lime juice, so we're adding that now. We're going to add the juice of 2 whole limes and stir it all together. Next up is our chipotle shrimp. Add peeled and deveined shrimp to your bowl and pat dry. Then add kosher salt, garlic powder, chipotle powder, cumin, and avocado oil. Toss it all together and then we can set it aside and let the flavors develop while we prepare our blueberry coconut chia puddings. I made the coconut chia pudding and blueberry compote the night before so they could thicken. The full recipe is in the description below and it's super easy and delicious. Now it's just a matter of layering it all together. I like to top it off with shaved coconut and a sprinkle of hemp seeds. Now it's time to make some mango salsa. Cut your mango on either side of the pit that runs down the center. Then run your knife through the flesh in both directions, taking care not to puncture through the skin. Then you can use a spoon to scoop it into your bowl. For our red bell pepper, I like to run my knife vertically down the sides around the seedy core. From there you can cut it into strips and then into a small dice. Don't stress about trying to make it perfect though. Now we're going to add half a red onion. This is normally where I would add half a jalapeno as well, but since I have small kids at home, we're going to keep this one on the sweet side. Next up is 3 cloves of garlic minced and the zest and juice of 2 limes. Now all that's left is some delicious fresh cilantro. Once the 1-minute timer was done on our quinoa, we let it sit on low for 7 minutes. Now we can carefully release any pressure. I like to use a dish towel over the vent to make sure it doesn't burn me. With meal prep, since you're going to be cooling down what you've cooked, storing it and eating at a later time, it's super important to cool it properly so you can avoid any foodborne illnesses. The best way to do this is to spread it onto a thin layer on a cookie sheet to cool before packing it up with a lid. The same goes for soup or any hot sauces. You want your layer to be less than 4 inches thick so that bacteria won't grow. Now let's make my favorite creamy coconut lime cauliflower rice. We'll start with some of the diced red onion and garlic we've already prepped. Once that's soft, add a bag of cauliflower rice. You'll saute this over medium-low heat for about 5 minutes, and then you'll add 1 can of coconut milk. Let it simmer and reduce down so it thickens up. This takes about 5 minutes altogether. Then add the juice of a lime and some chopped up cilantro. Season with salt and pepper and stir it all together. Just like we did with our quinoa, we're going to spread it out into a nice thin layer to cool on a cookie sheet. Now we're going to make our blackened salmon. Pat your salmon dry with a paper towel. If you have pre-made blackening seasoning, you can use that. Or click the link in the description below to learn how to make your own, which is super easy. Season the salmon generously. There's no exact amount you need to use, just make sure it's well covered. You can use your hand to kind of pat it in so it sticks well. Go ahead and set that aside while we prep some veggies. We're going to start with 1 head of broccoli, and we're going to use both the florets and the stem. Cut the florets off the top and cut them into bite-sized pieces. Set them aside into a bowl for right now. Toss them with some olive oil, salt, and pepper. I'm going to use the air fryer to toast these up, but if you don't have an air fryer, you can put them into a 400-degree oven for about 8 to 10 minutes until they're golden brown. I'm using a julienne peeler to peel the stem into thin strips. If you don't have one though, you can just use a knife to cut it as thin as possible. I absolutely love using red cabbage in my recipes. It's super inexpensive and adds the most beautiful pop of purple color. First, cut the cabbage in half and then make a V-shaped cut to pop out the core. Then you can cut it in half again and shave it as thin as possible so you get like little red cabbage confetti. Now we're going to go ahead and cook our salmon. You're going to add a little bit of avocado oil, which is better for high heat, to a big pan. Then add your salmon flesh side down. This is really going to sear the seasoning in and create that blackened salmon crust. About 4 minutes later, when you notice the crust is formed, you can go ahead and flip it over. It's okay if some of it sticks to your pan. I like to undercook my salmon just a little bit because I'm going to be reheating it for the dishes later on in the week, and I don't want it to become overcooked and dry at that point. Wipe your pan out and add a little bit more avocado oil. Now we can go ahead and cook off the chipotle shrimp. Go ahead and add them into a single layer, making sure they're not too crowded, and give them about 1 to 2 minutes and you'll notice they start to kind of curl up and turn pink on one side. Flip them over and cook for another 2 to 3 minutes and remove them from the heat. While we're at it, we're going to go ahead and cook off our lemongrass chicken. I'm using a grill pan, but you can also use a barbecue outside. You'll probably need to do 2 batches so that they're not overcrowded in the pan. Cook for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side or until internal temperature is 165 degrees and you notice it's not pink on the inside. Last step is our citrus vinaigrette. We're going to start with 2 garlic cloves minced up and the zest and juice of 1 lemon and 1 orange. This is one of my absolute favorite homemade salad dressings. It's so light and bright and fresh, and I know you'll love it too. Add some olive oil and a little bit of salt and pepper. You want to make sure you're using actual fresh lemon juice and not the stuff that comes out of the squeeze bottle from the store. We also added a tablespoon of honey and a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Last, we're going to shake it all together. Always give it a little taste to make sure it doesn't need any more salt or honey and that the flavors are well balanced. So now that we've prepped all our ingredients, I want to show you some creative ideas I have on how you can mix and match all of those different ingredients into some fun meals throughout the week. We have a breakfast, 2 lunches, and 4 dinners, so let's get cooking. First up is our coconut chia puddings with blueberry compote. We already prepped these to completion, so they'll be ready to grab for a super easy breakfast on the go. I'm going to show you how to make my lemongrass quinoa power bowls, which have become one of my favorite lunches for summertime. We've prepped everything for this meal, so it's just a matter of combining it all together. We'll start by scooping some quinoa into a bowl and topping with some of the shredded red cabbage and raw broccoli stem. Stir it all together and then add a healthy drizzle of the citrus vinaigrette. Then top it off with some delicious lemongrass chicken, which you can either heat up or leave cold. There you have it, lunch number 1 for the week. Done. Our second lunch is a quinoa and kale bowl with chipotle shrimp and mango salsa. Add the quinoa and kale to a bowl, and then you can top it with the chipotle shrimp. You can either warm it up or leave it cold. Then scoop some of the delicious mango salsa over the top. You can also add some extra citrus vinaigrette if you'd like, and it's super yummy with diced avocado on top. Our first dinner option also uses the chipotle shrimp on some fun tostadas. We'll start with 2 avocados. Cut them in half and scoop the flesh into a small bowl. Mash it all up with a fork and add a pinch of salt to season. We're going to make a super easy lime crema by combining 1 cup of sour cream and the zest and juice of 1 lime. You want it to be able to drizzle, so if it's still too thick, you can also add a tablespoon of water until you get the nice drizzleable consistency. Then you'll spread your mashed avocado over the top of the tostadas. Sprinkle some of that pretty red cabbage over the top of the mashed avocado. Warm up your chipotle shrimp and make sure you remove any of the tail shells. Then you can add 4 to 5 shrimp on top of each tostada. Drizzle over some of that delicious and tangy lime crema. That's dinner number 1, ready in less than 10 minutes. Next up on our list of easy and healthy meal prep dinners is our kale salad with blackened salmon, citrus, and avocado. We've already prepped the salmon, cabbage, and citrus vinaigrette, but we'll need to slice up some avocado in orange segments. We'll start with a bed of shredded kale, but you can use any greens that you have on hand. Romaine, arugula, spring mix, whatever works for you. And then we'll add some of our shredded cabbage to the top for a pop of color, some extra crunch, and extra nutrients. Then we're going to segment an orange. Cut the top and bottom off of the orange so that it can stand up tall. Then run your knife from top to bottom around the outside edges to remove the peel and any of the white pith. To segment, use a paring knife to make V-shaped cuts between the orange membranes and they'll pop right out. Then just fold the membranes over as you go and keep cutting in between them. Next, we're going to add some sliced avocado over the top of the salad. You can leave your salmon cold or heat it up to take the chill off. Then just give your salad a good drizzle of citrus vinaigrette and you have yourself a beautiful and healthy dinner. Next is that same blackened salmon, but we'll serve it over creamy coconut lime cauliflower rice with some yummy mango salsa on top. We've already prepped everything, so it's just a matter of reheating the salmon and cauliflower rice and assembling it all together. If you don't want to microwave your salmon, I recommend gently reheating it in a skillet on low heat with a lid on top, and that'll help steam the salmon and keep it from drying out. Our last dish is another super simple one that puts together the coconut lime cauliflower rice, lemongrass chicken, and our air fryer roasted broccoli. Even though it's crazy simple, it packs a big flavor punch. So that's it. Breakfast, lunch, and 4 easy dinners that come together in just 5 to 10 minutes to make mealtime. I hope this video helped show you that meal prepping doesn't have to mean eating the same meal 4 days in a row. With some strategic batch cooking, we were able to put together 7 meals that were fresh and healthy, and they all came together in just 5 to 10 minutes each. All the recipes are linked in the description below, and if you like this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one.